We're hanging out with the newest member of the Las Vegas Raiders, Ashton Jeanty. Ashton, congratulations. And we were kind of talking a second ago. How much sleep have you gotten since yesterday? Like, what are we running off of at the moment?
Not much. We're running on E right now. I've only got about 2 hours of sleep, but I'm excited. I'm here. I'm a Raider, so, it's all good.
One thing I always get a kick out of is, we did this with Brock Bowers last year, is what does what does your phone look like after you get drafted? I mean, I can't even imagine, does it overheat? Are you still able to get texts and all that?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I've gotten so many texts to the point I'm not even responding anymore. It's too many.
Best or maybe most surprising person for us that reached out to you and congratulated you last night was?
Most surprising? Maybe Marshawn. I wouldn't say surprised, but it was just cool because, he's one of my favorite players, one of my favorite running backs.
And speaking of Marshawn and kind of shifting back to the football field, you look at Pete and what he's done, his history at USC, obviously with Seattle in the NFL. This is a dude who from the jump made it very clear, I want to run the football, right? So you come in, obviously, no pun intended, you fit that mold. What was it about those interactions with Pete and with Spytech where you were kind of I could see myself fitting here?
Yeah, I think just the energy, I could tell who they are as people. They definitely care about their players and, the development. But also that, they're looking, for a guy to tote the pill. And I could, feel that energy off the rip. And, it was great being around him. So I'm just glad to be back in this building, with all these great people.
You talk about coming back to the building, right? We heard the story about you winning the basketball shootout the other day. And really, that to me feels like Pete in a nutshell, right? Since we've gotten to know Pete over the past couple months, competition is at the core of everything that he does. Now competition at the core of everything that this organization does. How much does that excite you to be in an environment where everything you do, not just you, but the 90 guys on this roster is going to be out competition and getting better?
Nah, it's very exciting. I love to compete. Competing is everything. And I'm probably one of the most competitive people you ever be around. So I think he could see that. And, especially when I was, putting up them shots. So I think that sealed the deal, really.
Yeah, 100%. And, we talked about Pete's history with the running back and making it, as efficient and as effective as he's done in his history. But Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, too, has taken a lot of really good backs and taken them to the next level. Obviously, look at what he did last year at Ohio State. Just your thoughts on kind of getting to link up with Chip in this way, to have a chance to work with him, to collaborate with him, and to really get this ground game rolling.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I mean, he has a great history of using the running backs and, helping them play at a high level. So I'm excited to be the next one and, just get to work and learn this new offense.
One thing that really stood out to me in hearing Pete talk was he said, a lot of what your job is going to be, and the backs in general, right, is to make life easier for Geno. Mm-hmm. When you kind of hear that and you kind of look at the running back position in general, so not just you, but the guys in that room, how valuable is it to make the quarterback's life easier, on a game day?
Yeah, it's real important, pulling those defenders down so that we can, have a better passing attack. But, also just to take some pressure off the quarterback. And, even another aspect of protecting them when they are passing the ball.
We heard Maxx. We saw on social yesterday, Maxx so excited when it was announced that you were the pick. Obviously Maxx in the best way is just a different kind of dude, right? The ultimate competitor, a guy that is really seamlessly kind of fit what Pete is preaching here in Vegas now. How excited are you to get a chance to go toe to toe with Maxx in all aspects, but to kind of just see a guy like him work on the regular?
Yeah, it's gonna be dope, and he's gonna be a great person to watch and learn from, but. I heard he's a real trash talker, so I think it's going to be fun, playing against him, in practice every day.
Are you a trash talker? You get after it on the field?
I get after it a little bit. It depends on who it is. But, usually I like to just stay focused and locked in.
We were going back and reading a bunch of some of the stories from your time at Boise, and obviously we heard from you in the presser earlier today about just the importance of relationships and kind of how that has carried you through your entire life on the field and off the field. I thought it was interesting when you talked about the importance of relationships on a football team, and I'm kind of just curious, how you as a rookie coming in, highly drafted dude, come in and say this is how I want to kind of cultivate the relationships with my teammates.
Yeah, I think it's connections. first off, it'll start in the, the running back room, getting connected with those guys, because those are the ones I'll be around the most, and, the running back coach as well. But I feel that, from all the teams that I've been on, the closer that everybody's connected, like the better you guys play together on the field. And, if you can keep growing those relationships off the field, then, everybody's going to be ready to go to battle, to war for each other on the football field.
Really, I think it's, maybe the past year or so, like it's kind of felt like there's this movement of the running back coming back, right? You look at what Saquon did, you look at a guy like Derrick Henry, what he did, obviously the highest, drafted running back in a minute now. Like, what is it about this moment that football's having right now where it does kind of feel like there's a re-emphasis to running the football, controlling the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I think kind of like you said, like a running back renaissance, resurgence. I think, everybody's realizing, how valuable it is to, have a guy with that X factor in your backfield. And, most importantly, it's making your quarterback's job easier, but it's going to help you win games and put teams away in the fourth quarter.
Speaking of that X factor, I saw a video last night where it was you getting hit either at or behind the line of scrimmage. It's like a 4-minute video, right? If you getting hit out of the line or out or behind the line of scrimmage, and then you go for 6 yards, 7 yards, 75 yards, whatever it is, like, what is the key to just dominating in yards after contact?
I think it's the way I work, just obviously workouts, lifting heavy, but it's also just a mentality of not letting anybody take you down. Like, the first man is never going to tackle me, and really it's me versus 11, and nobody can stop me.
We've heard so much about the toughness, the elusiveness, kind of how smart you are in terms of picking up a playbook, all that. But like, what's the area of your game that like we're not talking about enough? Like the area that you're like, hey man, I can do this, that, and the other, but like, don't sleep on me here.
Yeah, I think for me is my receiving ability. I mean, I think some people see it, but this past year, I didn't get to show it as much just because of the way the offense was. But I am a great pass catcher. I'm a great route runner. So I'm excited, to get in this offense and bring that to life.
One thing I thought was pretty cool, and we talk about it all the time here, is that history is such an important part of everything that this organization is about, right? You look at the pictures on the walls, the alumni coming through. You had a chance to meet Marcus Allen earlier today. Like, I'm just curious, for like a young dude like you coming in, like, can you kind of feel that sense of history and the sense of like why it is so important for this place?
Yeah, you can definitely feel it. I mean, walking around, seeing the facility, seeing all the legends. 3 Super Bowl MVPs here today. So there's just a lot of history, a lot of great people who, came through here, but they also still have a presence, and, there's a great alumni here.
Just before I let you go too, like obviously you had your parents here, you had your people with you here, and we saw those great shots from Green Bay last night. Like, why was it so important to have your family with you as you kind of go through this pretty exciting adventure? Yeah,
because they're my support system, whether things go good or bad. I rush for 200, or if I rush for -8 yards, they're going to be there to support me each and every way. And, they've helped me so much along this journey. So to share that moment together, finally accomplishing my dreams that, they helped me get to was amazing.
Ashton, just before I let you go, for someone who maybe didn't watch a lot of Boise State football last year, for someone who is a Raiders fan but maybe not a college football fan, like, what should they expect from Ashton Jeanty in 2025?
Man, everything they ever wanted in a running back. As far as like, community, obviously I'll be in the community doing great things, but it's going to be super exciting to watch me on the field and, get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be a movie every week.
And we can't wait to watch the feature film. Well, hey, congratulations, brother. It's so nice to have you here. Best to you and the family. And huge congratulations, man. Welcome to the Silver and Black.
Yeah, thank you.